This is London.
Making his way to the ring, Steve Gray!
Great ovation for Steve Gray from London, England.
Indeed, Steve Gray from Peckham in London, as you say, debuted in 1969, 35 years ago. And you know, this guy still wrestles, as Mal Sanders does, on a regular basis for various promotions, especially Premier promotions down in the south of England. I, in fact, recently saw him go a half-hour time limit draw, and that was about 3 weeks ago. Considering he's been a pro for 35 years, that's no mean achievement.
No question about it. He's wrestled all over Spain. He's been to Spain, Dubai. He's also an amateur wrestling background, and he was a schoolboy boxer back in his day.
Yeah, his father, Freddie Green, was actually a professional boxer, and as you say, Gray was a schoolboy boxer and an amateur wrestler. World, European and British lightweight champion, dominated that division along with Johnny Saint.
And here comes Mal Sanders. What a matchup this is going to be again. Another very experienced British wrestler. Like his opponent, has wrestled in Dubai, also Germany, Nigeria, Zimbabwe, Iceland. He's been all over the world. And actually, he states his most memorable match as being against the legendary Mick McManus back in 1978 at the Royal Albert Hall for the European title.
That's right, both these men have wrestled at the Royal Albert Hall and the Wembley Arena. In fact, Mal Sanders was on the undercard of the Big Daddy Giant Haystack singles match that drew a whopping 10,000 at Wembley Arena in 1981. So both of these men used to the big crowds.
Referee Tony Scarlo checking the equipment out on both individuals. A lot of history between these two guys.
Oh, tremendous amount of history. I mean, the first title change between these two documented back in '84, so we're talking about at least a 21-year rivalry here, Eamon.
They've also swapped the Ken Joyce Trophy on a number of occasions. In 1994, as a matter of fact, Gray defeated Sanders for that trophy, and in 1998, Sanders won that Ken Joyce Trophy himself. So both these guys, great credentials coming into this matchup.
And there's also plenty of other titles that have switched between them. I can tell you, I mean, Mal Sanders has held the European Middleweight Championship 6 times. Steve Gray's held the same belt twice, and on both occasions, he beat Mal Sanders to win that belt. So they know each other very, very well.
Side headlock there by Gray, and Sanders trying to get out of it. And there you see some of the unusual technical aspects of the traditional British style of wrestling that a lot of modern day fans may not be used to seeing, Dean.
Exactly, that is a traditional British escape there from Gray in Gray in the black trunks. That's Sanders in the red, white and blue. Easily identifiable, as the late great Kent Walton would have said.
Crisscross choke now applied by Sanders. Nice escape there by Gray into the wrist lock by Sanders.
Oh yeah, that's a Japanese stranglehold.
Nice roll through. Look at this, multiple roll throughs by Gray. Again, escaping somewhat unorthodox in terms of the modern day catch as catch can style. This is not what fans are used to seeing. Nice single leg pickup there by Sanders into the leg grapevine, working on the left leg, of Steve Gray. Mal Sanders in control. Sanders now stretching the hamstrings of Steve Gray. Gray getting back to his feet. Sanders perhaps trying to focus on that left leg of Steve Gray in this matchup as he applies the wrist lock now.
Well, if Sanders can find a weak point to Gray, then British wrestling and the style of wrestling is very good for spotting a body part and singling that out for particular attention. Strategy very much a part of the old style British wrestling, and a beautiful reversal there by Gray up on his head.
Indeed, showing great neck strength.
And Sanders cartwheels out of trouble. Both men in tremendous shape, considering their years in the ring. Sanders debuted 27 years ago, so Gray's got a few years on him.
Sanders now with a hold of Steve Gray, but Gray flipping over.
So he flips into trouble. double arm stretch. That puts pressure on all the way from the wrists down to the shoulders and the neck. Now Gray here, what he's trying to do is catch Sanders. Oh, he's trying to catch Sanders on the chin, but in trying to avoid that, Sanders left himself open to be opened up on the arms, and the move was broken.
And now Gray going to work on the left leg of Sanders. Sanders into the ropes, however, and referee Tony Scarlett right there to break it up.
I wouldn't think Tony Scarlett will have too much problems in this, although Sanders, if things don't go his way, Sanders can bend the rules every now and again, but Gray always has been a stickler for the rules. He's one of the most honourable wrestlers in the business.
Greco-Roman knuckle lock now applied by both men. Sanders with the wrist lock applied.
Well, he said Sanders was going through the arm, but he now looks like he's working mainly on the sorry, he's going for the leg originally. He's now working on the arm.
Great strength there shown by Steve Gray moments ago, lifting Sanders right up on his shoulders again, showing great shoulder and neck strength, almost getting the pin with the sunset flip. Both men, however, back to their feet as the bell sounds for the end of round one.
Well, that really was dipping their toe in the water.
Indeed, the feeling out process still going on.
That's the thing, when these two guys have wrestled each other, it must be over 100 times. I mean, nobody really knows exactly how many, but we are talking three figures here. These men, very, very familiar with each other.
Please, round two.
And this is going to be one of those situations where really a mistake or a very quick move on the part of one of the wrestlers will win this match, I think, Eamon.
Wrist lock applied once again by Mal Sanders as we begin round two. And a nice kick out there by Steve Gray. Again, more unorthodox maneuvers and counters being shown as Gray misses the drop kick, and that could be a turning point in the matchup. Gray left his feet and paid for it. Mal Sanders, the experience coming through there, avoiding contact. Shoulder block nicely done by Sanders, taking down Gray. Sanders, however, going, countering that body slam, and Gray almost got pinned. 2 count, however, and Mal Sanders lands right on top of the referee.
Tony Scarlett doesn't quite know what to make of that, I don't think.
Mal Sanders having some fun with the referee.
He's got the reverse body scissors on now. If he does try and drop Gray up and down on the base of his spine, as he is about to now, that Eamon was the original pile driver. Long before anyone was dropped on their head in old British wrestling, that was known as a pile driver until the varieties that we know now with tombstones and so on, popularised by Dave Finlay among others, came in.
Okay.
Steve Gray now trying to tie up the legs of Mal Sanders, trying to counter this body scissors.
And I think there they shook hands that there's a complete stalemate there. No one could get an advantage, and so up they pop, sportingly shake hands, and on we go with the wrestling.
Steve Gray now trying to maintain control with a wrist lock. What a treat it is for these fans here in Coventry to see this style of wrestling.
They're watching on in fascination. You can see there, everyone's eyes glued to the ring, hardly a sound to be heard.
Sanders trying to escape this wrist lock. Both men evenly matched in terms of body weight, I would assume. Sanders with a little bit of advantage in terms of height. And at this style of technical wrestling, that plays quite an advantage, Dean.
Well, Mal Sanders is proficient in technical wrestling. He was trained and broken into the business by the legendary late Mike Marino, who, if anyone saw him, would tell you he was one of the great technical wrestlers of his time.
And again, another standoff after a tremendous display of technical expertise by both individuals. Collar and elbow tie up once again into the wrist lock by Gray, breaking Sanders down to the canvas, now going into the hammer lock.
And another thing, you can tell how seriously both men are taking it, because quite often I've seen Mal Sanders wrestle and he'll play to the crowd a lot. And on this occasion, you can see from his face, he's all business. There's no real playing to the crowd. He wants to win this match in front of, this will be one of the largest crowds these men have wrestled in a fair few years. As I said, they've They've both been in front of crowds of 9,000-10,000. They've both wrestled in front of royalty, but this is a new era of wrestling in this country, and this is one of the biggest crowds the new era of wrestling has seen.
Irish whip there by Sanders. Up goes Gray. Crossbody attempt is countered, and there we see the power of Sanders come into play.
Oh, he tried to hold him but couldn't.
And a powerful kick out there by Sanders, and once again the referee gets caught up in the middle of the action.
Poor old Tony Scarlo better be getting danger money for this, I tell you. He's not the largest fella in the world. Still trains people up as well at the Dropkicks Academy in Essex in England.
Greco-Roman knuckle-lock once again applied by Sanders, breaking Gray down to the canvas.
End of round 2.
And that's the end of the round.
And again, a very evenly matched contest so far, Dean. Neither man really having an edge over the other.
Well, they're both trying various tricks. They're both attempting to get an advantage. But so far, as we said, it's neither man shifting, but with this one fall at stake.
Ring the bell, please. Round 3.
One mistake can end it. You know, it only takes 3 seconds to get a pinfall after all. That's no time at all.
The bell sounds and we're ready for action here in round 3. Again, going for that Greco-Roman knuckle-lock. Mal Sanders in control. Gray trying to fight to keep his shoulders off the canvas. The referee, Tony Scarlo, right there on top of the situation.
This is more of a wear-down hold. Mal Sanders knows he's not going to get a pinfall out of this, but gravity's on his side, so by forcing Gray's arms down, it just takes some energy out. And again, he's now trying to force Gray's body down, but Gray manages to counter with a monkey flip and reverses positions.
Sunset flip there by Sanders. And no, Gray using his feet to get out of that one. Both men once again back to their feet, and a great show of respect from this sold-out crowd here in Coventry, all 3,500 of them.
Indeed, I mean, these men really are legends of the business.
Another sunset flip by Gray.
And now I think both sets of shoulders are down, are they?
Indeed, we have a double pin situation here. Both men fighting to keep their shoulders off the mat. A very unusual position. You don't normally see this in a wrestling ring.
No, and it looks like actually it's referee Tony Scarlo who called the stalemate there, and they're back on their feet.
Snapmare takeover by Sanders. Again going for the pin with that victory roll. And take a look at this. Steve Gray in a precarious position, to say the least.
I thought this was meant to be for family viewing. No, Mr. Sanders, don't. No.
Steve Gray at the mercy here of Mal Sanders.
This has been a sporting contest so far, and it still is. Well, there's the relief. Although it sounds like some of the crowd were quite disappointed.
These fans don't seem too happy with that. Nonetheless,
I always worried about these people in Coventry.
spinning toe hold applied by Steve Gray, going for the Indian Deathlock. It appears he's got the legs of Sanders all tied up. This hold, a modified version here of the Indian Deathlock, one of the most time-tested submission moves in the business. Referee Tony Scarlo right on top of the situation. Mal Sanders grabbing a hold of Steve Gray, but he just got his head rammed into the canvas, and you can hear the impact. Sanders in some trouble, trying to negotiate a counter here, again going for the bear hug, but gets his head rammed right into the canvas, Dean.
Definitely in a bad position here, Sanders. I don't know if he's going for a bear hug or maybe just a slap in the ribs to shock Gray into breaking the hold, but
and he finally does.
Somehow he escapes. This is the thing with the traditional style of British wrestling, is they crisscross. A lot of the time you'll get escapes that you really can't see how on earth they go out of that.
Hip block right into a cover. This could be it, but no. And once again, Tony Scarlo, he's earning his money here tonight.
Good attempt by Gray, but let's face it, Eamon, when have you ever seen a match won with a hip toss? I think, again, a wear-down hold. I'd be surprised if a match ended with a hip toss.
Sanders now going back to work on the left arm and shoulder of Steve Gray, applying that hammerlock on the canvas. And Gray has to be careful to keep his shoulders off the mat here once again.
And again, it's pressure on the arm. With Gray's arm rolled under him, really puts pressure on the shoulder joints.
Sunset flip attempt, but it's countered into a victory roll. And a cartwheel out of that by Gray. Off the ropes he comes. Mal Sanders countering. He's got the victory roll.
He tried the folding press there, but to no avail.
And again, as we mentioned, both these guys knowing each other so well, it's going to be very difficult for either one to get a pin.
It's interesting, we call it a sunset flip. That's the name it's universally known as, but in the old British days, that was the plain old double leg Nelson. I think sunset flip sounds a hell of a lot better, though.
Steve Gray now trying to counter this crisscross choke, and he does.
Nicely done by Gray.
Very well done. These two men showing you what type of technical experts they are in the ring as the bell sounds for the end of round 3, and what a contest it's been, and the action opening up a little bit more in this round as we take a look at some of the action from earlier on.
Oh, definitely, Eamon. That was far and away the best round of the match so far. Both men are beginning to get a little bit tired, so the defences are down.
As we see some of the near falls from earlier on. These two guys pulling at all the stops. As you said, this is the biggest crowd that they've wrestled in front of in quite some time, so they're definitely letting it all hang out tonight at an International Showdown. And a great treat for these fans here in Coventry to see action of this style that they're not usually used to seeing.
Please, for round 4.
As round 4 begins, the bell sounds. And we're ready for more action. Collar elbow tie up. And a shot to the face there by Mal Sanders. You can feel the action beginning to open up here. Sanders obviously sensing the desperation and wanting to put Steve Gray away here pretty soon.
Oh yeah, he's using the heavy artillery now. The technical wrestling's out the window for the moment as Sanders is attempting to brawl his way to victory, as it were.
Irish whip once again from the far side, clothesline, nicely executed by Mal Sanders, and Steve Gray now, Dean, is in some trouble.
He is. The tide's turning now, and Gray is beginning to get hit with heavy shots, which are going to knock the wind out of him. And Sanders, I said if Sanders was things weren't going his way, he might resort to not quite well, some underhanded tactics, shall we say. And now you can see there his feet are either on or near the ropes, or Gray's foot's on the ropes now, and he's hit his man while he's down. Sanders beginning to just bend the rules a little there, which is, in the context of the match, should be disappointing, because so far it's been a very good sporting contest.
Both men are back to their feet. Sanders holding on with the side headlock, and an illegal shot there right between the eyes, and the referee right there on top of the situation. Steve Gray is going to have to turn the momentum around here, or it's going to be over for him pretty soon. And another vicious shot there by Sanders.
Well, I couldn't see if that was the flat of the hand or if it was a punch. If it was the flat of the hand, it's perfectly legal, but the fact that Sanders turned Gray's head away from the referee makes me suspicious.
Indeed, and that could be it right there. The double axe handle from the second turnbuckle on the inside. Sanders now sensing victory. Oh, but he got caught. Right hand to the midsection. Stopped him in his tracks.
Well, you know what? It's rare that you see Mal Sanders go up to the top, so high-risk offense. But again, it shows that both men are pulling out all the stops for a victory here as a base of the spine drop, or atomic drop as it's known in America, is hit.
Steve Gray there building some momentum a moment ago with the atomic drop, but Mal Sanders trying to turn the tide. Another shot right to the gut, and the referee trying to back Sanders away. Steve Gray in tremendous trouble.
Gray's going to want to try and see this round out and then catch his breath and regroup in that minute-long break we have between the rounds.
And there we see some of the underhanded tactics of Sanders choking Steve Gray on the top rope.
I think he's testing the ropes to see if he can tie Gray's arms up in them by the looks of that there. Again, not a sporting move to do, but Sanders obviously feels that he needs an extra advantage somewhere to gain the win here.
A series of near falls there by Sanders a moment ago. Again with the snapmare takeover off the ropes. And a double shot there right to the throat of Steve Gray. And Sanders gets caught that time over the top rope to the floor. He goes.
But he landed well. I think Gray was hoping to give himself a breather there, but Sanders landed on his feet and is straight back in the ring, albeit not by the means he'd have liked.
Cross body there by Steve Gray. This could be it too. And he gets
it. Well, how about that? We were saying that Gray looked to be in
Steve
trouble.
Gray.
Well, he probably wants to see the round out, and he doesn't know he sees the round out, but he sees it by getting the only fall required.
Absolutely out of nowhere, Steve Gray with the cross body block on Mal Sanders, getting the pin. But Gray took a tremendous beating, and just out of nowhere, when you thought he was down and out, comes back with this beautiful cross body block, taking Mal Sanders down. The leg was hooked tightly, and he got the victory.
Well, what did I say? It only
Gray.
takes 3 seconds to get a pinfall that can come out of nowhere, and it certainly did. Your winner, Steve Gray.
What a great matchup here in Coventry at International Showdown, showcasing some of the athletes from World of Sport and the glory years of British wrestling.
Sanders doesn't look a happy man, does he, Eamon?
No, he does not.